Fast and Furious is all about writing. Thanks so much for being here. My name is Michelle. I'm from Learning House. Before we start the mock test, I'm going to go over some basic tips, some basic writing tips, so that way you can put together a decent composition. And you can use these tips whether you're writing a school essay, whether you're writing something for business, whether you're writing a pitch and you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to get funding. First thing, whenever you're writing, get straight to the point. Focus on what matters. Don't add in extra details if not necessary. Stay committed to what you're writing about. That being said, when you're writing, you want to vary your writing. That means sentence structure, the words that you use. If you use the same sentence structure, simple sentences for your entire essay, that might get a little bit boring and tedious to read and write. So think about the way that you talk and mirror that. If I write an entire essay or story using simple sentences, I eat rice, I go to market, I buy vegetables, I pay with money, it's going to sound very tedious and the same. So you want to think about varying your writing. The other thing is use the correct verb tenses. If you're a beginning student, this can be challenging, but the basic past, present, future, and that makes your writing crisp. So when you use the right verb tense, that really elevates your writing. Also, structure. So this is something that you always want to consider: the beginning, the middle, and the end. When you are writing an essay or when you are writing a letter, you always kind of want to introduce the main topic. The middle is kind of the meaty part where you put the most important points, and the end is your conclusion. If you think about the best movies that you watch, they follow the same structure. The beginning establishes the storyline, the plot, the characters. The middle is where all the action happens, and the end is the resolution, how the story solves itself. When you're writing, you want to think about the same thing. Paraphrasing is basically taking a set of words and switching it into your own words. If you're taking IELTS or TOEFL, they'll give you a writing prompt, and part of your introduction is restating that prompt in your own words. So here on the screen, you can see consumer spending on products. Okay, how else can you talk about consumer spending on products? Money people spend to buy items. You're saying the same thing, but in different words. The tricky part here when you're not a native English speaker is you have to have a big vocabulary. So you have to be familiar with a variety of words that you can use, kind of like tools. So thinking about words that you can use to express what you're given can help you formulate your very first paragraph. That's your introduction. How should you structure your time? The first 4 minutes, you should not be writing anything. If you start writing before you plan, you're going to have a difficult time. So in those first 4 minutes, number one, you have to read the prompt and make sure you understand the topic that's being discussed. To help you, you can write down notes, and the notes don't have to be complete sentences. It's kind of like a sketch. When you're first drawing, it's not clean, it's a little bit messy. You're just getting the main images, the main shapes down. That's what your notes are. And while you're making your notes, you're thinking about your outline. What are the main points that I want to make here? What is the direction that I'm going to take this? So that's the first 4 minutes. Only after you have your outline done do you begin to write. Writing here today should take you around 13 minutes because, as you'll see in step 3, you're going to want to save time to check your writing and review what it is you've already written. Now, again, when you're writing, you should have that structure in mind. So you know your introduction, all you're doing is restating the topic in your own words, and your body is when you're getting to the main points. The conclusion is like your takeaway. It's your summary. It's the main thing that you want your reader to remember after they've finished your essay or finished your letter or finished your proposal. Before you hand in anything, before you send the email, before you send the letter, before you finish your test, you have to look for mistakes. And this third step can be the difference between a passing grade and a fail. Because what you're doing here is you're checking for errors. You're looking for repeated words. Maybe you use the same word 5-6 times. That's not keeping the writing interesting. Then it's not varying things. And maybe you've missed punctuation. So this is an easy grammar fix that can improve your writing. Your mock test is 20 minutes. I'm going to put the prompt on the screen. Now you have a choice. You can handwrite your essay now. You can practice typing. Now remember, step 1, read the prompt, understand what it's saying, make notes, and then you begin. So the prompt is, there are public grounds in your neighborhood. You have heard the government is planning to sell this area to a developer. Write an essay to print in the local newspaper. And the things that you must include in your piece: first, you have to introduce yourself, describe why this space is important, and say what action you'll take if the city continues its plan. So this is your prompt. 20 minutes starts now. Best of luck, everybody. When you're writing, actually your brain shifts into the right hemisphere, so this is a more creative space. That's why taking that time in the beginning to plan what you're going to say really helps you, especially in timed conditions if you're taking a test or an exam. Always remember to plan what you're going to write before you begin. That beginning work in the front side will save you a lot of hassle and stress on the back side, because if you know where you're going to make a straight line there. It's kind of like if we're going to go trekking and we don't know, are we going to Manang or Beni or where? How do we know which road to take? So your notes and your outline and your plan is that map. So that way, when you begin writing, you know exactly what you're going to say. Also, please remember, writing is a skill and it takes time to develop, and you really have to work on it. But in as little as 5 or 10 minutes a day, you can dramatically improve your writing ability. You set an alarm, just like what we did today. On the Learning House Facebook page, we have a whole bunch of different prompts and suggestions to act as kind of creative starters for you. You can just journal and free write. If you feel like you're getting stuck with a word, or my writing isn't good enough, just put that aside, because there's a fear that can block you from writing. When you get scared or you feel nervous, you're not going to do it. And the whole point of getting better at something is you just have to do it. And so 5-10 minutes of writing a day, whether you're practicing writing emails, whether you get just blank pieces of paper and write. If you have a friend, start an accountability group and say, hey, for a half hour today, let's work on writing together. Choose a prompt and just write. Sending blessings to all of you guys. Take care and namaste.